What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode in the House of Suain. In today's video, we'll be going over how to perform a front squat. But before we get into that, I'd first like to thank you for your time and for clicking on my video. Also, if you enjoy this content, please hit that like button and consider subscribing, and let me know in the comments section if there's any types of videos you'd like for me to create. But without further ado, let's get into the front squats. So before you start any type of strength training, you should always make sure you're doing some kind of dynamic warm-up. This is just a quick overview of what I do before I start my strength training. I love to do these inchworms. I do about 5 to 10 of these just to get the blood flowing. Now I highly recommend some sort of like PVC pass through. This is gonna really open up the chest, the shoulders, the upper back, even the forearms, warm everything up, stretch it out. And then I'll focus on the lower body, really deep lunge. Now again, I'm speeding through these, but again, I'm taking about 10 to 15 minutes total to really get the body warmed up, make sure the joints are ready. Now, any type of banded steps that you'll see are great to start activating the muscles surrounding your hips. So in particular with these side steps, your gluteus medius, which is really gonna help you push your knees out when you're going towards the bottom of that squat. These back steps are gonna help also with activation of the glutes. These are just really great for just waking up the muscles without putting too much weight on right away. And now I also like to just sit in a squat, right? Keep the back extended and just kind of move around. You'll see me shift my weight from side to side, just kind of waking up the joints without putting too much stress on them too quickly. And right here, I'm just putting slight weight into my wrists and just, again, circling around, just stretching out the forearms a little bit. Make sure I'm getting both sides. Not putting too much body weight into this, but just enough to really feel that stretch. When compared to the back squat, I think the front squat requires a lot more engagement from other parts of your body. So that's why I take a little bit longer in warming up and stretching out for the front squat. With the front squat, you're gonna have to learn how to hold the rack position, and that's gonna require a lot of flexibility from your lats, elbow engagement. You're constantly thinking about your elbows staying up high, and good wrist flexibility. So I found this stretch to be really good at helping me stretch out the lats all the way through the triceps to the forearm and through the wrist. Here's another warm-up I found to be very beneficial in really opening up the shoulder, stretching out the lats. Now it's important to remember, you're not forcing your body into any uncomfortable position. You're just warming up joints, warming up muscles, just basically getting a feel for your flexibility, because it's something you're gonna have to work at consistently. So this shoulder warm-up has easily become one of my favorites. I've got the barbell strapped down to the squat rack, and I'm just pushing my elbows up as high as they can, really stretching out the lats, triceps, forearms, and the wrists. Now this next one is something I've recently incorporated into my warm-up. The focus of this is making sure I'm keeping my hands wrapped around the bar the entire front squat. Usually as the weight gets heavier or the reps get higher, I have the bad habit of letting some of my fingers off the bar. I'm still able to hold it in the front rack, but I want to make sure my entire hand is holding onto that bar. Now, just like any other type of squatting, the weight should really be distributed from mid-foot to heel. You shouldn't be leaning forward onto the balls of your feet. Another quick squatting 101 tip is to make sure that your heels are shoulder width apart. And I also like to point my toes outward to assist with my knees when I push them out towards the bottom of the squat. it's very important, especially as the weight gets heavier, to make sure you keep your back engaged the entire time you're in the squat. You want to avoid what many call the butt wink, which is where you can see I have a curvature to my back now as I'm at the bottom of the squat. You want to stay nice and engaged just like this the entire time. So the barbell shouldn't just be resting on your collarbone. You should actually bring your shoulders up and engage them so the barbell is actually resting on your shoulders instead. And right here, I just wanted to show you how I do not need my hands to actually keep the barbell in place. It's reliant on my shoulders keeping it in that cupped area. I can still breathe normally and no blood flow is being cut off to my head. Now the reason I hold the barbell this way is because I like to do clean and jerks. However, if you just want to do powerlifting and just get comfortable doing front squats, you can do front squats like this by crossing your hands over to each side, and now you're kind of trapping the barbell in that front rack position without having to put too much strain on your wrists. So now let's just look at a couple sets with increasing weight and walk through what you should be thinking about during each rep. So as I'm walking back from the squat rack, make sure my feet are set. As I'm dropping down, making sure my elbows are staying up as high as they can, pushing my knees out at the bottom of the squat, and always thinking about making sure that my back is extended. And even with my hands cross body like this, still thinking about the same exact things. Here we go, same setup, increase the weight a little bit more. As I step back, I'll reset my feet, look down really fast, make sure toes are pointed outward. And again, thinking about elbows high, back extended, knees out at the bottom. Weight from midfoot to the heel. Just like with the bench press video, every time you do a rep, it should look exactly the same. Find what works for you, make sure you're applying the fundamentals, but have a ritual. Now, as the weight becomes relatively heavier for me, you'll start to notice my breathing get a little bit heavier as I'm getting ready for each rep. Keep this in mind, right? At the top of the rep, take a nice deep breath in. No need to hold your breath the entire rep, but take that deep breath in as you're going down, nice and tight. And as you're coming back up, exhale, but make sure you're keeping your core tight. So whether you're just beginning front squats or you've been doing them for a while now, I truly believe that these warm-ups and points of performance that I've discussed are really gonna help you become more flexible, stable, and powerful in this very dynamic movement. So thanks again for watching, and until next time in the House of Suain, take care.